Timer.
Okay. Are you started now? Okay. Hi, I'm John Atkinson, and I'm here with my sons, Jackson, over there, and Bryson is the one that's holding the camera. And they're both teenagers. And I wanted to have an open discussion with them included and captured on YouTube about the topic of circumcision. Just a little bit of background. Well, let me share my intent first, or part of my intent. I am not doing this in order to shame parents that circumcised their children, and I am not doing this in order for men or boys that have been circumcised to feel bad about their bodies. Unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen. There's going to be some sadness and anger about this. This is a topic that touches pretty much everyone in the world. Well, at least everyone in the United States, one way or another. In cultures that don't do it at all, probably doesn't bother them too much unless they think too much about what happens elsewhere in the world. So, background about me. I am cut, or circumcised. I prefer to call myself a preputial amputee. And my sons are intact. Luckily, my wife and I were presented with some information. It was an article from Dr. Paul Fleiss about the topic before we made the decision with Jackson. I think it's a non-decision really, but that's my opinion. So, I talked to Jackson and Bryson a little bit about this before. I'm going to cover it again and have them answer some questions and stuff like that. That way, hopefully other teenage boys and even adult men that don't understand the procedure become more clear about why I consider it harmful. So, guys, you know what this is, right?
Yep.
It's one of my many mock peni, right? And as I operate it, and why don't I just rip down my pants and show a real penis?
Well, one, that'll get this video strike down.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, want to be kid friendly, right?
Yeah.
I'm not really aiming to get this in front of 8-year-old or 9-year-old or 10-year-olds, and they'll be too young to really understand.
I highly doubt that anyone would get this recommended if they're below 10.
But you guys are at the age where you've been presented some sex education in school, right?
Yeah.
Correct, Jackson? Yeah. Did they cover the anatomy of
Nope.
the natural penis?
No, they do not.
Yeah, they don't, do they? I've looked at some of the curriculum myself, and yeah, they don't cover the anatomy of the genitalia. They cover the anatomy of the reproductive parts.
Yeah.
The inside parts that create babies, but they don't. And they also tell you about protecting yourself using condoms and birth control and the risks of STDs, STIs. You know what those are, right? STD, STI.
Yeah.
What does that stand for, Grayson?
What?
What does STD or STI stand for?
Well, I mainly just know it's a
How about you,
sexually
Jackson?
transmitted
STD?
disease.
Either one or both? STDs, STIs, what do they stand for?
STD is sexually transmitted disease.
Yeah.
STI is
Same
sexually transmitted
Infection.
Okay. So I got to the sexually
Yeah. So
transmitted
you're not
disease.
looking at me with the camera, Grayson.
Sorry.
Unless you wanted to aim on...
Yeah, I did while he was
Oh,
talking.
Okay, okay. So keep it focused. Yeah, so they don't cover the anatomy of the genitalia, and I wonder why they don't. I think that if everyone understood the differences between the natural anatomy and the anatomy that's been carved up, and this isn't just a male thing. This is females, right? And even intersex. There's a certain amount of carving up that happens of children's genitalia in order to make them one way or another, right? So let's primarily focus real quick on male circumcision, right? Because you guys are kind of most affected by this because well, you're boys, right? So, so this looks a lot like the natural penis, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, it doesn't give it full justice, right? Because there's actually a little more skin
Yeah.
in front of the gland, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't understand, you see that well enough?
Yeah.
Bryson?
What do you want me to zoom in?
This is supposed to be the glands, right? And if you've been in the U.S. culture or Israel culture or many of the Islamic cultures, actually that's probably what you've seen most of. And anything other than that would look weird to you because you haven't seen penises that look like more like this, with skin covering the glands and maybe probably some skin hanging with the end. And it varies from one person to another, just like vulvas and girls vary from one girl to another. So it's no 100% perfect way of being. It is what it is. So, and that skin going over the glands, it's kind of stretchy, right? It tightens down a little bit over the head. As it rolls up the head, it squeezes us a little bit, and at the end, it's closed off, right? And your pee goes out of that part, right?
Yes.
You're not used to peeing like this, right? You're used to peeing on potty with your foreskin, your prepuce attached, or in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, and a lot of people are, they think they look at that and it's like, oh man, it's a trap for dirt. It's a trap for dirt. It's gonna kill my kid. It's gonna be gross.
No, it isn't.
Doesn't work that way, does
It's
it?
like a one-way thing.
Yeah. It allows the urine to go out
And nothing to come in.
and nothing to go back in, right? Yeah. If you look at the video that I did, and I think it's on my channel, with John Geisiger from Doctors Opposing Circumcision, he kind of talks about the mechanics of how that works, and he actually passed around a little thing from plumbing about that showed how that actually would work. Okay. So we addressed the cleanliness part of it, and when you're young, that doesn't actually roll back all the way now, does it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you have what is it called? Well, your skin is attached. Your foreskin is attached to your.
Your prepuce, your
Prepuce.
mucosa
Yeah.
of your prepuce is actually attached
Yeah.
to the glands. Let's get a little thing cleared up here real quick, and why I keep using the word prepuce and foreskin. A lot of people think of foreskin as this whole thing, the whole thing
Yeah.
being removed and completely making the glands open to air, right? Well, when you look back at a history of circumcision and all that, foreskin is really just supposed to be the skin that's in front of the penis. That's F-O-R-E, for, in front of, right? And if you look at medical texts, at least the ones that really cover this in much detail at all, they actually call this the prepuce, and just the very end, the part that's hanging off the end, is the foreskin. And if you look at Jewish, including any of the Abrahamic religions that cut off, or any part of it to be cut off, there's actual variations about what they do. It goes anywhere from a ritual nick, which all that does is draw a drop of blood, and from what I understand about Jewish religion, that's what makes it kosher, right? Or just cutting off the foreskin, not removing it from the glands. Or what I've heard as preputial, where they actually remove it all the way off of the glands, right? And if you look at the history a little bit more about how that came to be, you might understand that preputial was something that came up later, not in the original Abrahamic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another topic, and I don't want to make the video too long. So, but what is done to most male babies in the U.S. is basically what preputial is. It removes the entire prepuce, right? And they use various tools. And you might want to look these up, Jackson. One's called the Mogen clamp, M-O-G-E-N. And the Mogen clamp is very much like what appears to be what Jews, the Moyles, use, and where it's like a kind of a thing that just slides over the foreskin, and it just kind of slides it into something like that. That makes it really tight and makes it really easy to. Well, the aim is to protect the rest of the penis, right, and to just cut off the foreskin, not the whole prepuce, but the foreskin. Okay. So here's the problem. Where do you draw the line between foreskin and prepuce and shaft skin and all that? It's really hard to do, right? Because the penis, and this doesn't change size here with what this mock penis I have, right? But the real penis actually goes up and down, right? It gets more erect and less erect and all that, right? So some medical professionals actually flick the penis to get it to be erect, so they avoid cutting off too much, right? So the Mogen clamp is what I believe was used on me. And here's why I think that. Because from what I can tell by looking at my own penis, is it's being, it's like this all the time, right? Is I have a large amount of what I think is the inner mucosa. If you look at the penis of circumcised men, you'll see that there's two colors of skin, right? One color is a little darker than the rest. The darker part is the inner mucosa. That's the part that is normally on the glands and keeping the glands moist. It's like the inner mucosa of your mouth, inner mucosa of your nose, inner mucosa underneath your eyelids. It's different. Okay? It's different kind of skin. So when you use the Mogen clamp and it's just cutting off the end here, you're not getting that inner mucosa because it's still on the glands, right? So what I think they did is they pulled up, or my penis was drawn down, so there was a fair bit of shaft skin upward, making more skin at the front of my penis, and thus more outer layer got cut. Again, this is supposed to be the outer layer, and this is supposed to be the inner layer, right, or the inner mucosa. And then this is supposed to be shaft skin. But again, how do you draw the line when you're dealing with something that grows and shrinks? It's impossible to draw the line. There's no obvious line, and doctors can draw it wherever they want to, or surgeons or butchers or whatever you can call them. Okay, so that was the Mogen clamp version.
And there's a gum.
There's a Gomco clamp, G-O-M-C-O, and there's also the bell, plastic bell. And there's actually another bell that I recently read about. And those involve putting something on the glands to try to protect the glands, right? And then crushing the skin around the base of that bell until it all falls off. And the idea is nice because when you're crushing at a point like that, it allows things to coagulate and grow back together, and so you have less bleeding. Or some people say no bleeding. That'll make it non-kosher. But anyways, so but we're kind of jumping the gun here a little bit. So with the Plastibell method in Gomco plant, they had to put that around the glands of the penis, right? So what's the problem with what do you have to do before you can even do that if you're dealing with an infant?
Separate each of the foreskin and other type of skin from the prepuce or whatever.
Keep paying attention, Bryson.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the prepuce, right? And this is the glands, right? Right? The glands, the head of the penis.
Yeah, the glands.
The fireman's hat. Yeah. So that's attached, right? A lot of people will compare it to being like the fingernails and toenails being attached, right? So in order to get that bell onto the glands, and in order to remove all the prepuce, the first step is to stick something in there and break the synechia, as they call it, the part that is making it attach. So, sounds all painful, right?
Mm-hmm.
People say that it's better to do it as a baby because they don't feel anything, or they feel less, or they don't remember it. And men will go through a lot more pain and et cetera, et cetera. Well, that sounds very painful to me. And if grown men, don't have that synechia and it's naturally separated, they don't have to go through that step, right? It's all different. And because the Plastibell and the Gomco plant, are they only come pretty much in like one size. Lots of these medical professionals want to get this done within the first, like, say, 30 days of birth. And of course, it's going to depend on the size of the baby too. But okay, so what are the other problems with breaking that synechia? It's harming, right? So I mean, if you let's go back a little bit here. So for intact boys, medical professionals often send parents home saying, okay, you need to retract this every time you change diaper and put some what on the top?
Soap
Nope. We're not talking about
or a
cleaning.
lubricant.
Well, not really. Vaseline is a common thing, but there's
That's-
also other creams.
That's a
And
lubricant.
why do they tell you to put cream on the? Why do they tell the parents to put cream on the glands? Don't know.
I can't remember the exact reasoning.
So what happens is what they're worried about is that since this is harmed, right? You have what the body naturally does. It tries to heal itself. And what kind of, like Jackson, you got hurt on your back when you were really little, right? So you have a scar about this big on your back, right? And when you touch that, you tell a difference between regular skin and scar tissue, right? It feels completely different. Like there's a lack of nerves there, right? And I have a scar here, and because I had an appendectomy, and there's definitely a difference in kind of tissue. Well, since this is supposed to be attached, the body tries to reattach, and the prepuce tries to reattach to the glands like it was supposed to be in the first place when you're a small child. Well, the problem is since it becomes scar tissue, after that, the prepuce may never be able to retract and separate from the glands. Another thing that happens that kind of goes along with this scar tissuing thing is in cases where there are, boys are circumcised, they end up with what's called skin bridges, because even though you're circumcised, again, the penis is growing and shrinking, right? In some cases after circumcision, the penis goes all the way down inside the body and gets kind of trapped in there, and it's called buried penis. Look that up, Jackson, if you want to look up buried penis. You know how to spell buried?
Basically buried.
Buried penis, yeah. And that's another problem. Whether they consider that part of side effect of circumcisions or not, that's another issue to look into if someone wants to look into that. But, alright. So yeah, even if they're removing that, even if they're doing the preputial amputation, now the glands is open to the air, and it's all red and everything. It's supposed to be an internal organ. That's why it's all red when babies, and it becomes more pinkish, whitish as you get older, because you have that same kind of scarring process, or skin kind of grows up on there, and it doesn't feel, most likely doesn't feel the way it's supposed to. Problem is, no one knows, no one's going to know, because they do it to little children, right? So, adult men that have gone through the process, well, some are not happy that they went through it, but every man that I've seen talk about it that has gone through this process as an adult either went through it because they felt pressure from their partner, peer pressure, or medical reasons. And the ones that I've talked to or seen that went through it because they were under pressure, were not happy that they did afterwards. So.
Anything else?
Do I have anything else on my notes?
Problem with Surf Video. Not a doctor, but docs.
Yeah, so I'm not a doctor, but doctors opposing circumcision have many doctors involved, and if you get outside of the USA, you'll find that many doctors are against the procedure of neonatal genital or neonatal circumcision, or what I consider non-therapeutic, non-consensual preputial amputations. What was the other thing, Jackson?
The article attempts to show that male circumcision is legal in the U.S. Here are many
No,
others.
just the two notes that I had.
Right, those are
Right here.
important too.
Okay. In the middle. Okay.
We're done here?
So that's just a couple of the problems with doing that to babies, right? So I can get more into graphic detail about how that affects sex and stuff like that. But I can see that your arms are getting tired from holding the camera, Bryson, so maybe I'll call this part 1 for now, and maybe we'll get into part 2, do another video later on. Just have multiple videos that we keep short. I appreciate you guys for listening to this. I mean, what are your feelings and thoughts about this?
Well, I honestly hate circumcision.
What?
I honestly hate circumcision.
You hate circumcision,
Why
yeah.
though?
Well, mainly because so many people get convinced into thinking it's the right thing to do, and when you try to confront them and to teach them, they always use
They
back.
become a Karen.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
They become a Karen.
A Karen?
A Karen. You know what a Karen is?
No, I don't.
It's like an entitled mother. So, a Karen will stick to her word no matter what. Here, let me look up Karen. It's probably something.
Okay, this is new. I haven't heard of a Karen before.
Karen is a meme. The name Karen is used on the internet to describe the sort of woman who firmly asks to see her manager.
Okay.
Or also known as a soccer mom.
Well, your mom used to be a soccer mom when you guys would play soccer. But people do get offensive about or defensive about this. A lot of people think of it as like a vaccine, but vaccines don't remove body parts.
Yeah.
Not.
And then also, some people think it's actually how it's just naturally is.
Yeah, a lot of people think of that as vestigial, meaning that it's extra. The body doesn't need it anymore. It's it's outdated. At one time, the cavemen needed something to protect the glands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's more than just protecting the glands from
dirt.
the brush and dirt and stuff like that. It's actually more functions than that.
I think
Many.
circumcision is very inhumane, and it's stupid that most doctors do it so that we don't get infections or stuff. But if that's the case, then why don't you just cut off every single part of the body? Because everything can be infected.
And then again, what about an open wound in a dirty diaper?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, because it is an open wound, at the very least for the first week, because where they make the cut, it's open to gaining infection just from the cut, just like any other. If you cut any other body part, if you don't take good care of it, it can get infected, right? So, but at the same time, the whole glands is open to being infected now. Whereas
And
it had the protection of the prepuce before.
And that is, since it's often when the male is a baby, there's a lot of the time where it gets infected due to with the poop in the diaper, feces, whatever.
Yeah, pretty icky. So, yeah, I mean, I heard something recently about Bob Marley. Do you guys know who Bob Marley is?
No idea.
Oh, you can look him up, Jackson, but he's actually being into music. I think you might actually like this. He actually died because one of his toes got infected. So I often say, well, we might saw Bob Marley today if his toes would have been amputated when he was a baby. Right. So I mean, yeah, we can make claims for medical benefits for removing lots of body parts.
Just like, there's a risk of getting your hand infected. Just cut it off.
Yeah. I mean, so it's always a weighing of those medical benefits against the need for the body part, right? So I mean, people wouldn't even think of having the toes of a baby cut off, right? Because they think that part is important, and they'd hate to see your baby without his toes, and blah blah blah. Well, now that I understand how the natural penis works, I hate to see baby boys without their prepuce. To me, it's just as much mutilation as having toes cut off.
Can we stop soon? There's 1 minute until 30.
Sorry, okay. Okay, just so everyone knows, there's Bryson. So you know that I'm dealing with two teenage boys here. Thank you much. Bye.